cute. And we're live. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
We have a different change of scenery today. We decided to do this spontaneous Facebook Live on the couch.
Yes.
We are going to, again, we're looking down as we usually do, so we're going to share this to our personal and business pages.
Yes.
So give us a little bit of time, but happy Thursday to you guys.
Come on in. Come on in.
We're being a little spontaneous. We
in a minute, so it's a good way to welcome in spring. Now that the weather is, it doesn't seem like it, but the first day of spring is already here. So we're good. We're good. Come on in. Invite a friend. Bring your questions. Some of you may be driving home, so maybe not.
Yeah,
so
don't
much.
text and drive. Don't do that.
But we're going live, so we'll have a few questions coming in, share some tips as we've done before, and as always, ask us anything, any question.
Yep. Okay, so I have shared to my page, and please feel free to share this, friends and family who you think would be interested in digital marketing tactics and tricks. We're going to talk about the month of March, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to close down my laptop, and then Diana will survey the scene and see what's going on.
Yes.
So we are in March. I cannot believe we are in, oh my gosh, beyond the middle of March, so almost in April. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but March is Women's History Month. So shout out to all my ladies. And in addition to it being Women's History Month, there are all kinds of events going on around the city of Atlanta. And today I went to a Women's History event. I believe they said today was the 14th year that this organization has held this event, but it was a panel and a luncheon discussion hosted by WeOp, which is an amazing organization that I am a part of. The Adrienne J Media is actually a part of. Women Entrepreneurial Opportunity Project. And WeOp is really focused on accelerating and helping women entrepreneurs in the city of Atlanta and helping them access capital, funding, access to government contracts. And at that event today, speaking on one of the panels was one of our fellow We entrepreneurs, Tanya Hicks. So shout out to Tanya. She did an amazing job today. We also were able to see some of our other connects that were there. So China Terrell, who used to work with one of our clients, DSS, and then Carisha Moore, who is actually on the staff at Usher's New Look, which is an amazing nonprofit. So it was a wonderful event today. If you guys didn't know, again, Women's History Month. So support women-owned businesses and women in general, because we're the bomb. So that's what I have as an intro for us. And then Diana also had a fact that she wanted to share about what's in the news in regards to digital marketing, what's going on with social media.
Yes, so one of our, I don't know what to call it, a thought leader.
Yes,
who
she's a
always
thought leader.
Keeps us on our toes about what's going on in the news, put out a post that I think is just fantastic for today. So the news coming out today says Instagram is finally changing your feed to make it more chronological. So basically right now when you're on Instagram, everything is a mash. You'll find something from 2 months ago, from 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, 2 hours ago, so it doesn't have an order to it. But what they're going to try, well, they're testing it out, A/B testing, to see if it would work better if things came in the order somebody posts. So yay, nay, yes, no, yes, no. So we had a good feedback from the last question we had about Facebook having the dislike button. We haven't heard about that yet, but right now Instagram is testing this out.
And a lot of people
for it.
I'm for it too. A lot of people have issues with the algorithms in regards to Facebook and more specifically Instagram, because it kind of tells you what you want to see based on your behavior. But now, due in part to our thought leader Whitney, Whitney, we're watching you. Our thought leader Whitney, who shared that amazing post. We now know that they're going to do it more in chronological order. So whatever was the last post or the first post, that will come up now in your feed, and they're not going to predict what you want to see or tell you or what is it called? Update your feed based on their algorithm. So you guys leave us some comments and let us know what you think about that.
Yes, no.
Yes, no.
What you feel about it. You want it to stay the way it is. Instagram might be new to some of y'all, so Maybe you don't care about it either way, but for me, I would love it. Sometimes you're like 18 hours ago. When was 18 hours ago? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Time. So yes.
Yeah, and I've actually seen in my feed some St. Patrick's Day posts. St. Patrick's Day was last week.
It's gone.
So I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
So in any event, thank you, Diana, for that news for the day.
And Whitney.
Yeah, and Whitney, of course. So if you guys have any comments about that, let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
All right. So into our rapid fire, spontaneous digital marketing questions. And before we jump into that, we usually do these Facebook Lives on Friday, and we wanted to start doing them every other Friday.
Yes.
But of course, business calls, and we haven't been staying true to that every other Friday. But in the nature of spontaneity, we decided to jump on today, change the scenery, and be on our sofa instead of in front of our sign. And to that point, it's really important that you spice it up for your followers and for people who engage with you on email, social media, what have you. So we are spicing it up with you guys and coming to you without any notification, without any emails, without any posts. So we hope that you like this, and we are exhibiting what we think is important for digital marketing as a whole, which is to keep it fresh, keep it entertaining, and insightful and informative, and not be as predictable.
Now, last time we were on here, there is something interesting we shared about how 96% of content online is unbranded. So we ain't doing any. I mean, we are branding, but it's not so much.
Yeah, it's not as literal.
So we're practicing what we preach.
Yes, we are. Yeah, so we want to be a little bit more comfortable and not have the Adrienne J Media sign just plastered. Right. That's a really good point, Diana. So we're bringing you less branded, more spontaneity, and of course, always great content and great information. Yes. All right, so jumping into these questions. In our last Facebook Live, we talked a lot about how great content is really important when it comes to social media, and asserting yourself and being a thought leader really helps to creating authenticity for your brand and then growing your followers. So one follow-up question we got is, how do I curate great content? So there's a way to curate content. Curate basically means you go and you find content online through different sources, and then there is creation of content, where you are creating custom content, whether you're writing blog posts, creating graphic design, images, so on and so forth. But for this question, this person wanted to know, how do I curate, how do I find great content? And there are a number of ways you can do that. We use a software called Hootsuite for our social media management. There are all kinds of social media management platforms out there.
There's so much coming out.
Oh my gosh, there's Edgar, there's Hootsuite, there's and of course, as I'm naming them, they escape me. But there are lots of different platforms out there, and the platform that you choose really depends upon what your needs are.
Right.
But to go into answering the question, a lot of those platforms allow you the capability of researching content based on the topics and based on keywords. So if you're utilizing a social media management platform, look into the capabilities and see if that option is there, right? So that's for one particular small business. Now, you may say, Adrienne, I don't have a social media management platform. What are you talking about? How do I curate great content? Another way to do that is to utilize Google and all of its free resources to the best of your abilities. So I'm not sure if you all are aware. A lot of people know about this, but it's called Google Alerts. So let's say that you want to curate content about your business which sells custom rugs, and you want to know about the latest trend in Berber carpet, or you want to know about the latest trend in Italian rugs, or silk, or so on and so forth. You can set a Google alert based on the time in which you want to receive it about those particular topics, and Google will send you those articles based on what you're interested in. So at that point, you have Google doing the work and the research for you. You have these articles and these topics and images coming to you on a daily, weekly, however you like to do it basis, and then you can filter through that content, curate that content, and then determine what's the best for your brand. So those are two ways. And
I love that idea, because Adrienne would come around every so often and throw information at me. I'm like, how do you know this is going on? She's like, I got a Google alert. So I mean, that if somebody else can do the work for you, why not? It makes and now Google is just about everywhere. So that's a great way to have them bring the information to you without you trying to search through all this stuff. I see Christine White joined us, and she said Crowdfire. That's another.
Oh, yeah, excellent. Crowdfire. I've never heard of Crowdfire, so thanks for that. Crowdfire. We'll look into that.
always learning new stuff.
Yeah, we love to learn.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. If you have
fire.
any questions, send them to us. We're just answering rapid fire questions, something that may just come off the top of your head. I remember when I started interning here, and I always thought create and curate was the same thing, but having gone through it and now understanding curation, it's so much broader than what you expect it to be. When you're creating, it's your own imagination and your own creativity, and you're putting it together, and you own the content. But you also have to be careful when you're curating. You have to give proper attribution to wherever you're getting it from, and you're not just taking people's information. So it's not necessarily your own, but you have to make sure you give proper attribution to it.
That's an excellent point Diana just made. When you're curating content, if it is not your own, be sure to source and cite and attribute where that information came from. We don't want to plagiarize. That's not a good thing. Give people their credit where their credit is due. But content curation is, again, a great way to help identify and solidify your business as a thought leader in your industry. So that's really excellent. So that's one of our rapid fire questions. Another one was, how often should I change my social media profile photos and my cover photos? That's a good one. So we have clients that we consult with and individuals that we talk with on occurrences where they have had the same profile picture or the same cover photo for their business for years. They look different, the company logo is different, the brand is different, and it hasn't been updated. So we have a set of standards that we think are important to keep, again, like we said in the beginning, your brand fresh, your content fresh, and to, of course, keep your followers engaged. So we suggest that you change cover photos on a monthly basis and let that be a seasonal thing. We change our cover photos for all of our clients that we manage their social media for, and then for our personal brand every month. And whatever the cover photo is for that month is applicable to what's going on with that brand. That way you are, again, keeping your content fresh for your fans and your followers, and you're also speaking to the season and being timely, which is really important in social media. And in regards to your profile picture, we suggest you change that based on the brand changes. So that may not be something you want to change every day, every month, but if it's a personal brand page, as in like you are the brand, why don't you think about updating that every year? So if you get a new haircut, if you dye your hair, if you do whatever, then we want to change our profile picture at the top of the year because we got a new headshot. If you are a brand and you have a logo, if your logo changes and the branding changes, then you need to change that logo. Or if you want to do a refresh, you change it based on that refresh.
And especially with the brands, you have to be very careful, because if you keep changing every single day, something new comes out, or every month or so, then you start to lose people. But if you keep it where somebody will just remember it as is, cover photos profile photos are more prominent than cover photos, especially when people are searching through the feeds. So they might not see your cover photo as much unless they come and click into your profile. So be careful with profile photos versus cover photos, where you have a little more freedom. And it's always a good way to announce what you're doing anyway on cover photos. Definitely. Something new going on in the company. Spring's coming. Your what did you talk about? St. Patrick's Day.
Seasonality. Any of those changes. Speaking of which, please share this video. I keep looking down at Diana's computer because I can see the.
Please share. We see a couple of people on here, but please share. We have Justus and Grace and Christy still with us. So please share. And you might have a question. Not necessarily to do just with digital media, social media, web development, Women's History Month,
email marketing,
anything. Give us a shout out.
And again, please share, mention, tag someone in this video that you think may find this information helpful. And speaking of, and I hate to digress because we do have some more questions, but speaking of announcements about what's going on in your agency, Adrienne J Media has 2 new interns, and of course they're not here today. This is their off day, but we want to definitely give them a shout out because they have already been a huge asset to us. So Caress and Ashlyn, you guys are awesome, and hopefully you guys will be able to meet them. Excuse me, in another Facebook Live. I'm going to take a sip of water.
We need to pull them in next time so you can come and see who. It's not just us making noise in here. We're actually working with a great team that is adding a lot of value to us and helping us run on a day-to-day. And they are bright young minds that are learning whatever is new and coming to share with us and keeping us updated on what's going on in the world out there. I was also going to ask you something about the social media cover. Now, when you change it, do you change it on every platform? Or do you just want to stick with the one that, like, whatever you do on Instagram, or if, you know, people have multiple platforms, do you change it on every platform, or would you rather just keep it on one platform?
So my suggestion is that if you make the change, you change it on every platform. Now, each platform is different, and you have to understand there's different sizing.
Yes.
So what you put, right, because we go through this every month. What you do on Facebook for your sizing will be different from what you do on Twitter than from what you do on LinkedIn.
Right.
You know, Instagram doesn't have a cover photo. But be mindful of that environment. So you can't just, we don't advise that you just upload the same picture from Facebook to Twitter to LinkedIn, because those sizings are different. And if you want to get even more intricate, you can also change that cover photo messaging from month to month based on the platform itself. So what you put on Facebook may be more about the interworkings of the business, or may be more seasonal, and that message may match what's on Twitter. Then what you put on LinkedIn, because it's a business-minded profile, people are networking, people are sharing what's going on in their specific industries, that information may be more industry specific, or maybe an image that is more business minded, as opposed to a fun image of chilling on the couch doing a Facebook Live on your Facebook cover photo.
Now let me ask you, because I've seen this is a trend, and I personally don't like it, but I see a lot of people doing it. But videos on their profile or their cover photos.
Yes.
I don't know if I like, because sometimes you're on there and somebody has like water running or something, or they're moving around, and you're always like, what's going on in here? I know it attracts you, but it's busy to me.
Yes.
But people are doing it a lot more now. Does it help as a brand slow down how your content is viewed? You know how, like, when you're loading things on websites, if you do things that it doesn't load at a faster speed, people move on from that.
Yeah.
Or is it, you know, does it help?
To me, again, it's brand specific. All of the decisions you make should be focused on who your brand is, what you stand for, what you're doing. For Hogan Institute of Cosmetology and Aesthetics, that's one of our clients. We manage their social media platform. They actually have, and Diane doesn't like it, but they actually have a video in their cover photo. And I love it for them.
Oh, okay.
Right, so they have a video in their cover photo, and in that video it's displaying their students learning on their clinical floor. And essentially the clinical floor is where cosmetology and aesthetic students go to practice the skills that they've learned in their everyday classroom instruction. So this is another side note. This is another insight into how we master the industries of our clients. It's really important that if you're managing the social media, or if you're working for a client, that you then become an expert in their field. So we've been working for Hogan Institute for some time now, and I have now a lot of crystallized knowledge about cosmetology and aesthetics, which I am now able to impart to you. So that is what the clinical floor is. So this video and I suggest you guys check out their Facebook page, but this video that's on their Facebook page exhibits their students on the clinical floor and shows what they do on the clinical floor, whether they're learning how to do a roller set, or they're preparing for their state board exam, or they're learning how to cut, or they're actually seeing clients, right? So in my opinion, because their customers, so who Hogan Institute of Cosmetology and Aesthetics, who they're looking for is a potential student. And what would that potential student want to see but how classes are executed and how students are taught, right? So for that particular brand, a video in their cover photo makes perfect sense. It may not make perfect sense for other brands, but I personally like it when the video is tailored towards who that brand is and who their audience is.
Now I would, now that you've explained it like that, I don't mind it being so much on a cover photo, because on a cover photo you'd have to go into their profile to view, and if it's nicely done, like theirs has the intro to their building as you come in, and it looks very nicely done. I think the problem I have is on profiles, because when you're on your news feed and you're scrolling through stuff
you
and
see the
things,
profile pictures,
I think that, and it doesn't immediately let let me know who that is or what that is, or it doesn't attract me immediately. When you go to the person's profile or the brand's profile, I'm all for it. Actually, it looks very nice. But on your profile picture, I think it makes you get lost in the...
Okay, I get that. In the feed.
In the feed, when people are searching you, or to immediately be like, oh yeah, they're doing something new today, versus like, okay, I'm just going to ignore.
A matter of opinion.
Yes.
She's a matter of preference.
Yes.
And again, what works for your brand and what you think is on brand for you is truly what's most on important. Brand. But it's good to hear that we work for the same company and we have differences of opinion. At the end of the day, it's all about doing what's best for your business and for the brand. Yeah. Okay, we got new people coming.
Yes, send us your questions. Yes. Let us know what your questions you have about social media, digital media, email marketing, web development. I have Maggie's join us and Whitney. Hey, Whitney.
Hey, Whitney.
Thank you for keeping us on our toes, Whitney.
Yes.
I had written a question here and I've seen people ask this: how do you get verified on social media?
That is a very good question.
Yeah.
And the process is different by each platform.
Maybe explain by what do you mean by verified.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you might not know what it is. You just know it by looking at it, but you don't know what it is.
You know what verified is when that person has the blue check. Like
next to their profile?
Next to their profile, I'm verified. Yeah. And verifications are usually siloed to celebrities, political figures, people who are large numbers, very well known. And that verification process, as I said, is based on the particular platform you want to be verified on. So you go in, you say you want to be verified. They ask that you verify that you are this person by submitting a certain amount of documents, photos, so on and so forth. You go through the review process, and then they verify your platform saying, yes, this really is Diana. This is not a fan page. You are really hearing from her. And when you have a business that is a large entity and is really looked at by a lot of people, it's very important that you do become verified because you don't want anyone out there speaking on behalf of your business.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And because they are curating content from everywhere about you, it's very easy for them to duplicate a page like yours.
Correct.
But then it also opens up another whole host of things that people might do that are not with your consent. So getting verified is important if you have a lot of followers who are following you, may speak in your voice. Now, the reason why even this brings my attention is, especially on Instagram, they have made it such that there's added benefit of being verified.
Oh, verification.
You know, the scroll up, they have this thing where now you can add your links directly on your page if you are verified. And I think that's great because Instagram is a little rigid in terms of what you can do in terms of clicks and stuff. So if you have a host of those, people just go to your page and they click wherever they want to go without having to necessarily look for you. So there's an added advantage. And I think you have to have like 10,000.
Yeah, I think you have to have between 10,000 or 14,000 and above followers to be able to scroll up to view this link, which really helps. And we're going into another form of marketing, which really helps for influencers. From an influencer marketing standpoint, right? So let's say I'm an influencer and I influence people on, scarves, and I have 20,000, 30,000 followers on Instagram. Because I have so many followers, they've identified me as an influencer, and now I can embed links in my Insta stories and so on and so forth and have people click up to view things. So once you get to that point of a substantial amount of followers in your business and your brand, whether you're influencer or not, that's an opportunity for you to then market even further. And it's also a way to try to drive for more followers because once you reach that level, you can do X, Y, and Z.
And then for us, especially as digital marketers, when you do curate content and you are trying to give attribution or making sure people get the correct you're getting the correct pages, it is important to have that verified thing. So if I'm quoting Oprah, then I make sure I have the right Oprah page. So when I say something about her, it's going to the proper page, because then somebody it will be easier for you to find before you look at 1,500 Oprah pages. So if you have more than that, seriously look into that. It can be very helpful to you in the long run, because people know this is the page I need to follow and not all those other pages.
Exactly. So if you guys are just tuning in, today is a spontaneous Facebook Live, where we're answering digital marketing questions, lightning round, rapid fire, and then we're having conversations around different topics that pop up. Feel free to leave a question if you like, or mention someone who has a small business or is an entrepreneur, solopreneur, intrapreneur, what have you, and who may have questions around digital marketing, email marketing, social media management, website development, graphic design, so on and so forth. So we're been in here talking to you guys about just a couple of different questions that we've received following our Facebook Lives, and we'll jump into some more questions, but I did want to do a quick little plug about an idea that Diana and I have been bouncing around. So oftentimes we work as an agency with larger businesses who have a certain amount of employees and quite candidly a certain amount of budget to put behind having an agency manage their social media, build their website, maintain their digital presence. We also have a knack and a passion for helping those businesses who may not necessarily have the budget per se, but have the will and want to do it themselves. So we have bounced around the idea of hosting here in Atlanta, Georgia, hosting workshops, weekend workshops and evening workshops for those small businesses who want hands-on help with how to establish their platforms, how to identify which social media platforms are the best, how to set up their social media channels, how to set up their email marketing, so on and so forth. And we would love to hear from you guys either via comment or an email to hello@adriennejmedia.com in regards to if you would be interested in doing something like that. And if so, we can totally put those events together and facilitate that for you. And then for our viewers who are not in the city of Atlanta, we have also tossed around the idea of creating a ebook to be able to provide you guys as a download to learn those things that we're teaching in these hands-on classes. So we really want to hear from you guys.
Feedback.
Yes, absolutely. Give us feedback, whether it's today or next week or whenever you see this video. Leave us a comment and let us know if that's something that you would be interested in. Diana and I both love to impart knowledge and to teach and to share, and we want to not only help those businesses who have the budget, but help those who may not have the budget but have the will and want to do it as more of a DIY themselves. So
now,
let us know.
We when I first joined Adrienne, I always used to be business, but in the grand scheme of things I've come to learn from her, it's not always just about dollars and cents. Sometimes just giving back will in return come back to you, because the person you will help will recommend somebody back to you just purely out of the reason that you helped them out. And besides, the information is not ours to keep. Like, everyone can find it. You're just giving somebody a faster way to get to it. So it's not always just about dollars and cents and about being business. Sometimes it's just about imparting the knowledge. And it's always changing so fast that you can't keep on doing it. By the time you figure that out, something else new has come on.
And then we learn from each other as well, guys. So feel free, again, leave us a comment and let us know.
Whitney said she loves the idea. Yes, Whitney.
Whitney.
You know you love the idea.
You can come and help us learn.
She said something, a comment here, right? I have two comments here that are very important in what you're talking about. Whitney says, IG has the shop option. Tag products are linked, and with one click it leads right to the e-commerce page to buy the product. Yes. That's amazing.
It is awesome.
Because LinkedIn. Instagram used to be like you'd have to go to the web page to go to the whatever page and other page, and it used to basically engagement doesn't really, because by the time you don't bother
you click through so many times,
so many places, it doesn't go where you really want them to. So if you go straight to your they're starting to realize they need to keep up with what people are suggesting and what they're asking about to make people get more on Instagram rather than stay where they are. So that's okay.
And that speaks to a point. I'm going to put this clipboard down because I feel like I'm doing the most. That speaks to what Diana's talking about, is like a click funnel, or what we call in the Facebook world the rabbit hole. So you get on Facebook, you see an article and you click the article, and within the article you see something else and you click that and you go down this rabbit hole.
And you don't know how you end up with
no idea how you ended up on NASA's website and you saw a picture about Beyonce. How did you get there? No idea. But that happens on Facebook. That is totally me all day at work. So that happens on Facebook. And people do that on Facebook because when you're in the environment of Facebook, oftentimes social media users on Facebook have the mindset of wanting to spend time and look for information. Whereas Instagram, to Whitney's point about e-commerce and how you can quickly click over, you're not in the mindset of wanting to click down the rabbit hole. Right? You're scrolling through trying to see what has been updated. If you do one click, you want to get to where you want to go.
Exactly where you want to go.
Exactly. So to that point, when we think about the click funnel or the rabbit hole in the broad scheme of marketing, it's important for us to give our customers the least amount of steps as possible, which means the least amount of clicks as possible. So if you are running a campaign on Instagram or Facebook, if you've created an email marketing campaign, you don't want to give your customer 4,000 clicks to get to the sale page or to get to the consultation page or to get to the info page for them to request more information about you. You want to give them as minimal amount of clicks as possible. Because I may be in the mindset of clicking down the rabbit hole and ending up on NASA's website on Facebook, but if I've received an email from you in my inbox, you've already come into my territory, and then if I decided to open it, then I want to get to the information that you're promising to me as quickly as possible because my mindset is different. So that's a really, really very important fact when you think about your marketing across any platform. Make sure that the actions you want your users to take or your customers to take are based on the mindset that they're in when they receive your information, and understand that on some social media platforms like a Facebook, I want to click through all day long. I want to see it all. I want to get to it fast. I may not want to get to it fast depending upon what I'm looking at, but if it's an email or if it's an Instagram, I may want to get to that content or that message a little faster.
Now, Christine has a comment that I'm just going to read in a minute, but I just want to add to what you're saying. That is also important because nowadays a huge percentage of people are using social media as a search engine. So if you are you have lost people in your rabbit hole and you can't find people who like to be able to just go type in what they're looking for, go exactly where it is, to your point, and just go immediately. And I don't have it. People don't usually go to Google or whatever. You go to social media to find your news, to find buying products, to get reviews for places. They go to social media, so you don't want to be lost in the huge rabbit hole.
Don't end up on NASA's site. Just
it's not a good place.
Sometimes it is, but not really.
Christy says the shop option doesn't seem to be available for every business page. Only available with the promoted post. And that could be their way of making sure that the people who are going to those sites are.
So again, with social media, hey Christy, we went to school together.
Did you?
Hey
girl.
Yes. So thank you for joining us. So typically when you are taking a customer from one platform to another, there's going to be a charge associated with it. Now, let's keep in mind that on Facebook, we can share articles, and then on Instagram, we can put links in our bio, and those things are free, and it'll click someone over. But those posts, if you look into the research in regards to algorithms, really don't index that high and show up that much on your users' profiles. On your followers' profiles. What shows up a lot are like photos, your posts, so on and so forth. So if you want to have someone to click over from a business page, you will have to put some budget behind that. Unless you have that following of like the 10,000 or 14,000 or more, and you create an Insta story, and then you put that link within the Insta story where you can scroll up and see X, Y, and Z. So yeah, Christy, you do have to put some dollars behind it, and it doesn't mean that your dollars need to be $10,000. You can test it out with $20, $30, $50, $10. Every little bit goes a long way, and just make sure that you are being very cognizant about what you're doing and tracking your performance, so you know how to do it better the next time, what worked, what didn't work. But that's a really good point.
To it. I have, Ras says here, webinars will be prudent. Like we were talking about, I think we were talking about how to, for us to do.
Absolutely. So webinars would be something that you're interested in. Yeah, that would be really cool. And we could do some, we've thought about doing webinars as well. We've actually bounced around some conversations as far as creating some courseware and having that available as well. But maybe we do a webinar. We have software.
That's a great idea.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cindy says, hi ladies. Hi, how are you? She says, interested in getting verified as an autism philanthropist. How do you do that? We did talk about how to get verified, so maybe you could just repeat it.
Right. So the verification is more about your identity than it is your career or what you do. Right. So, for instance, the mayor of the city of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, she is verified on Instagram as she is Keisha Lance Bottoms. This is not a mock account. Right. She is the mayor. Any information you see from her does come from the current mayor of the city of Atlanta. Right. So she's verified. The same with Beyonce. I am Beyonce. This is not a mock account. Any post that comes from Instagram, that is from Beyonce's account or a message from Beyonce. Yeah. So in regards to verifying your profession, you can add that to a business page and say that I am XYZ. We are a digital marketing company. Right. But in order for us to be verified to say there is no other Adrienne J Media, this is the only AJM, we want this blue check, we'll go through a process to verify us as an entity or as a person, but not necessarily as the career or the information that we're sharing, if that answers your question.
Okay. Another question we got a while back
from
Whitney, and it's a good thing we remember that we can answer. She asked, what's your opinion on Twitter threads?
She did. Whitney, I'm sorry it took us so long to answer this.
We were waiting for this Facebook Live, so we're on top of it.
Yes. So in the recent light of one of our clients reopening, one of our clients is Blue Cantina, here in the city of Atlanta, and they're reopening in East Atlanta Village. And prior to working on their reopening and getting into the nitty gritty of Twitter, I wasn't necessarily a fan of Twitter threads. Now I absolutely love them.
She's going a little crazy about them, actually.
I think they're wonderful. I think they're a great way to survey the scene and know what's going on and what people think.
It's a good way to poll people.
Good way to poll people. Yes. It's a good way to see what you're doing, what you're not doing, who likes what, who doesn't like what. Again, when we talk about rabbit holes, a Twitter thread is a rabbit hole for sure, especially if it's very long. But on a more serious note, I think Twitter threads can be very instrumental in surveying your audience and understanding and learning what they're interested in and what they like.
Right.
But to that point, you have to understand that Twitter is a two-way street.
Right.
You can't constantly talk without having something to say or saying something back. Twitter is about a conversation and less about a status update.
Right.
So on Facebook, you can get on Facebook and say, ooh, I don't like my scarf today.
Right.
And then you have all these comments beyond, in regards to that, and then that creates some sort of conversation, or people have left comments, you like it, and you move on. Right. On Twitter, it's more about engaging and creating a dialogue between people. So I get up and say, I don't like my scarf today. Diana comes under that thread and says, well, I like the scarf. Why don't you like it? Yeah. Then I come back and say, well, girl, it has checkers. I don't know. Whatever, it's hot. Yeah. And then that thread allows us to create a conversation, which then if I am a scarf manufacturer and I'm interested in a particular type of customer, I can go through that thread and say, ooh,
this is who I need to
identify as an influencer, or are patterned scarves too hot? Right. Is this fabric not right? So I think Twitter threads are awesome. I think they're a great way for businesses to get a true indication of customer sentiment. And especially if you are not using technology, like we have social media management platforms, as we talked about earlier, that will, through algorithms and technology, give us a reporting on your follower sentiment. If you don't have that, the manual way, go into your Facebook, go into your Twitter, and look at what people are saying in those threads and in those comments.
Now, I'm always the one who is the cautionary one. So the caution I'll apply to that, because she loves them so much, is you need to be aware once you start down this path, you should be able to back up what you're saying. So you can't get halfway through it and just decide, I'm going to abandon, I'm not going to. You have to be very careful when people start coming to you and you open yourself up to that. Yes. You should be able to answer all the questions that come. You should be able to know how to approach people in what they say, because the dark web can be a very real thing, and they might come and ask you something. So always make sure you answer back, because that's what it is. If you don't engage that with them, people just move on. And so it works better on Twitter, actually.
It does.
Instagram and Facebook.
And Facebook has their threads and their comments. But again, conversation. That's what Diana's saying. It's about conversations, about engaging. We had another question, which was on my clipboard, about email marketing. Do we have any more before I go into that one from our
We need it says yeah, you answered her question, so she's happy about that. Send us any of your comments you have about Twitter threads, or what your opinions are to do with the digital trends that we have going on today, what you've heard, what you know.
Yep.
If you can teach us something, we learned that webinars are a prudent idea and way to go.
I love that terminology.
We should look into that. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions on that. I don't have any question. Maybe if I have a comment, we'll throw it out there. But
okay, excellent. So the other question that we received based on one of our previous Facebook Lives was about email marketing and why you need it. Like, why do I need email marketing? I already have, as a small business, I already have lots of other tasks to execute and other things to do. Why is email marketing important for my small business? And we are going to tell you why. And this speaks to what Christy said earlier about how you have to pay as a business profile to include those links straight to the e-commerce page. Email marketing is the cheapest, because it's free most of the time, form of advertising for your business. Not only is it free, but you are now marketing to someone who has raised their hand and said, hey, send me more information. Yeah. So if someone ends up on your email marketing list, it should be because they have voluntarily provided their email to you and said, I want to hear from you. So I want to hear from you, Diana, about whatever you're talking about. They volunteered, they've raised their hand and said, hey, send me more information about you. And because of that, you know that that person is already interested in your business and your service and whatever you're offering, right? Excuse me. I'm going to take a sip of water while we do that.
And while Adrienne is talking about that, it all as she's going into email marketing, you also have to understand it goes hand in hand with your website or a landing page to wherever somebody goes. So it can't just go into a place where once you link over to it, they don't know where to go after they receive the information from you. So you make sure wherever your email marketing efforts leads to, it's a place where people can go to easily access information.
Exactly. I had to take a little sip on that. I'm so excited about email marketing. Okay, so these people have raised their hand. They've said that I want to hear from you. They've said that I am interested in your product, in your service, so on and so forth. Now they've raised their hand. This becomes important because they've identified themselves as a potential customer without you having to take an extra step.
Right.
We're talking about organically grown email marketing lists and why you need those. Organically grown means you didn't pay to get these people's email. They raised their own hand. So the reason why it's important is because that's free advertising. I've said that I'm interested.
Right.
You send me an email. Not only are you sending me an email, but now I've allowed you to enter a private space, which is my inbox, right? We are all protective of our inbox. You can now enter my inbox and tell me whatever you want to tell me at any given moment. That's a really opportune time for you to create a relationship with your customer, to be authentic with your customer, and to educate them on whatever your service or your brand is. And oftentimes this is done for free. There are several profiles out there, there's several softwares out there like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact. I know that MailChimp allows you to utilize their services for free up to 2,000 emails. Up to 2,000 individual people, you can enter their email box and say, hey, look at me. You provide them some compelling information and some compelling content. That is free advertising. So it's really important for you to utilize that because, again, these are people who've identified themselves and said, hey, I want to hear what you have going on. I want to know about you. And that's why email marketing is so important, because you are reaching someone directly. And if done the organic way, you're reaching someone who has said, I want to hear from you.
And there's a few caveats to that. You have to check the number of times you're sending an email. You can't hit people back to back to back to back. Otherwise, people get tired of you quickly if you're doing it too often. And then you don't get the feedback or the engagement you're looking for, conversion rates. You also have to make it an appealing email. Nobody wants to receive an email that's just been thrown together just like a Gmail somebody wrote to you. You have to make sure it looks nice and it's inviting. And then with also emails like that, make them short and sweet. Don't write a whole book that it's not a blog post. It's not just make it short and sweet where somebody can read, scroll through it, get the information. And one of the tricks we also use is make sure whatever you have on there with a picture or something is clickable to an e-commerce site, your services page, your social media feeds, because that might be your only one chance to keep somebody there. Because if you look at the emails people send out, the email market tells you whether to subscribe or unsubscribe and that kind of a thing. So they do have the option if they don't want, but you want to keep them with you as long as possible. So do everything you can in that one email to make sure that you're keeping the clients as long as you have them on there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Great
so,
info.
Again, if you guys have any more questions or comments, we'll probably be on for, is it 5 p.m.? Oh my gosh. Yeah. We'll probably be on for another 15 to 20 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. So, please feel free to, again, mention someone who may have a small business.
Yes.
Entrepreneur, solopreneur, intrapreneur, which means that they work for a corporation, but they're interested in, and they take part in entrepreneurial endeavors where they try to advance their company through ideas and ideation. So feel free to mention those people on here. Feel free to share this video to your page so we can amplify this and get more eyeballs on it, and then we can provide more people with assistance and information about digital marketing.
Now, Christy has a solopreneur, so she has a question for that, and I'm just going to cut through it so I don't read the whole thing, but she says her 9-year-old daughter makes a custom slime, which is very popular right now, and that's another thing that a lot of young kids
are entrepreneurs now.
Very early. Like,
that means you did something good, Christy, so go ahead.
So it's good that you're paying attention to this as well in terms of, so she says, what social media platform would you recommend to reach a group of 8 to 14?
8 to 14. Let's talk about it. Okay.
Should we really?
We should. Here's where they aren't. They aren't on Facebook.
They are not. Okay? They are not on Facebook.
They're not. So they're not here. So that's a great thing. Here's where they are though. They are on Instagram and they are on on Snapchat. However, and I'm going to digress this really quick, Chrissy. I'm going to answer your question. However, Snapchat has seen a downfall in usage based on some inappropriate posts that they put up about Rihanna, and I think Kylie Jenner said something else about Snapchat, and they saw a huge decrease in their market share. So let's be cognizant of the fact that Snapchat may potentially be on the decline due to some inappropriate choices and due to huge influencers like a Rihanna or a Kylie giving them a slap on the wrist like, no. So let's think about that. But back to your question, Christy. They would definitely be on a Snapchat, definitely on an Instagram. I can't believe kids, as young as they are, have Instagram accounts now. But that's a thing. But as we think about who your daughter's customer is, while she is marketing to that younger crowd, so what did we say, 8 to 14 in your comment, Christy? She's marketing to that younger crowd. And we want to reach them where they are so they'll be interested in that product. We have to also remember that they are not necessarily the ones who are going to pay for it. Their parents are. So when you think about your marketing approach for this product and where she is, utilize a dual approach. One approach would be to reach those kids that are interested, who would want to buy this product. So, oh my gosh, this slime is so cool, it's custom, so-and-so made it, it's made by a young entrepreneur, what have you, this is fun in their world, and a message that speaks to them. But you also then, in tandem, want to market to the people with the money, which is their parents, and say, this is a great product. It's fun for your kids. It's made by another kid. Support this person. So that when that child goes to their parent and says, I saw this, I want this, the parent then may also have some recognition and say, oh, I saw that too on Facebook. Or I saw an article about this young entrepreneur who made this on Facebook. Or I saw this on LinkedIn with this mom whose daughter is making this great custom slime and she's helping her propel her business, so on and so forth. So take a dual approach and keep in mind that your customer is the child, but the person who's paying, who's also the customer, is the parent.
Now, I'm going to throw this in because, for the most part, why they are on like Instagram or Snapchat is because people, but mostly kids, don't like to read so much, so they're not interested in text. They want pictures and videos. They want to see how the slime, and that's a real thing right now, to be honest. Playing with the slime for hours, they can watch that, so you're appealing to them in that sense of showing them what it does, which is what you really want them to do. But there is another app, and I think Facebook is trying to buy them, if I'm not wrong, maybe Musical.ly.
Oh yeah, so Musical.ly is used by a lot of young kids too, 14.
Right? That's their good. So if you make videos, they were trying to, because they're trying. Well, yeah. If they can get that, and you have 8 to 14-year-olds, and then you get them to come there and share without having to be on Facebook, it's a big thing.
Yeah, we're not hating Facebook. Don't shut our account down.
No,
do you?
We love you.
I'm just saying,
yeah, but that's another app that they are using if you're interested, even if it's just for like introductions and then cross-platform over to Facebook or to a website where they can purchase the product. But I encourage them. Social media, it's free, it's efficient, it's immediate. You can get on there. And
free, efficient, immediate. I like she said that, those 3 points about social media.
Yeah.
And tell us, try that, Chrissy, and tell us what you think about how that dual plan is working with your marketing for the parents and then the kids as well. I would love to hear how that's working, and then maybe share some of that with on our next Facebook Live. We love promoting fellow entrepreneurs regardless of the age. And I think it's amazing that you as a mom are helping to continue to flame that spark that's in your kids. So kudos to you.
Especially being Women's History Month.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, awesome,
I see here somebody, Tony Tosh. I see you on there. Send us your question. He's into photography. He does a lot of social media. Tell us why you prefer Instagram over Facebook, because I know he's heavy on Instagram. He does video marketing. How we can help you. He's a solopreneur. So maybe there's a way we can help you, or a question you have about how to market more on those platforms, or how to build a bigger audience. That's what we are in the business of doing: digital marketing, email marketing, web development. Send us your questions. I see a bunch of good questions here. Whitney says she's so disappointed in Snapchat.
I know, when it wasn't that horrible.
I'm not sure some type of way, but I'm okay.
So here's the thing, because you don't use Snapchat. Here's the thing. Okay, Snapchat changed their interface. I don't believe there was any notification or any opt-in from Snapchat users to determine whether or not they wanted this new interface. They changed the interface. And then they had this really egregious error. I just love saying that. They had this egregious error where they did a would you rather. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that, but it was like, would you rather like slap Rihanna or punch Chris Brown or something like that. And given the history of what has happened with them in popular culture, that was extremely insensitive. And based on what she tweeted or said, I think she may have put this on her Instagram account, their market share dropped. And something else happened with Kylie Jenner. I don't necessarily follow her or what goes on with them, but that decreased their market share. So I'm extremely disappointed with Instagram as well. You don't really make those kind of decisions. Snapchat. With Snapchat as well, because you don't really make those decisions without speaking to your customers, which again, we talk about small business. Snapchat is a huge business, but you want to get customer insight before you make those kind of changes. And as far as what I saw on social media, a lot of people were very unhappy with the change in the way that they started to do the essentially the streams. I think it's kind of busy. I just want to see the people that I follow. I'm not really interested in those other people. It's kind of like the discovery page you find on Instagram. It's now your homepage on Snapchat, and you have to do a little bit of digging to be able to find your personal people that you follow. Although I think that there is some sort of change that you can do to go back to the old way that Snapchat was before their new update.
Now, and to your point, especially corporations, brands and especially corporations have to be very careful, as you say, how they roll out whatever changes they want to roll out. You can't just wake up one day and be like, we're doing. Remember a few years ago when Gap tried to change the logo or something like that, and created such a firestorm? It applies also to social media. You can't just come in and sleep people things to do their changes, and you don't know what's going on. Test, A/B testing. Know what is out there, how people feel about it. Let it wait for a while. Don't just roll things out. People don't like change. It's the easiest way for them to drop you, especially if somebody, and there's always a new app or platform coming out every single day, and people are looking to jump ship at the closest time they can to try something new. So always make sure when you're rolling out, and as a brand, even you yourself, whatever you're trying to share with the customer, first try with your close family and friends, hear what they have to say about it, and then try it out with your audience and see how they like it before you just go and make a big change. Otherwise, it may not be.
It may not be it may not be warmly received. Absolutely.
Oh, here's a business question. Is laziness, okay, this is Tony. Is laziness a big downfall on entrepreneurs, and how can it affect business?
Absolutely. Tony. I just had a call with a lovely young woman from my alma mater, the University of Alabama, and I shared with her some information about what success truly is. So this is a step away from digital marketing, but about entrepreneurship. And as an entrepreneur, I think it's really important for people to understand there is no difference from the entrepreneur, there's no difference from a Bill Gates than from a guy who has a great idea about a computer software that he wants to start. The huge difference is the hard work, the perseverance, and the determination and consistency. Success is not determined by how much money you make, by how big your office is, by how many employees you have. It is truly determined by your ability to stay consistent, to work hard, and do that over time until you have a breakthrough. So if you're lazy, it's going to be very hard for you to be an entrepreneur and for there to be a breakthrough. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when I have slumps as an entrepreneur and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this today. I need a wellness day for myself. And there are times when you need to draw away. But there are also times when you have to dig in and you have to push past the laziness. Now, I'm not necessarily a proponent for what they call grinding, which is the sun up to sundown. I'm going to work until I can't work anymore. I'm going to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, do X, Y, and Z. Exactly. You don't take care of yourself. You don't prioritize when it comes to your family and your well-being, so on and so forth. But I do firmly believe in hard work and buckling down and getting it done and making sacrifices to achieve what you want to achieve. So if you want to be successful with whatever success looks like to you, laziness, regardless of what it is, whether you're an entrepreneur, or what have you, solopreneur, is not going to get you there. You have to have some sort of determination, discipline to get to where you want to go. So
I'm gonna take that and switch around to what we're talking today.
Yes.
This also applies not just to being an entrepreneur, but also on social media as a brand. You cannot be lazy. With your postings, and you decide I'm gonna post today, and next week I'm not gonna post. And I'm gonna wait. Your audience will drop you, and building them back up is very hard. Now, you don't have to post every single day. You post with appropriate content. Even when you see on our social media, we don't do it every day. But when you're curating what you're talking about, you're curating content, and you have something to teach your audience. You have a product to sell your audience, because it's not always, as we talked about, sell. Sometimes you're just educating your audience on what your products and services are. You cannot be lazy about it. And that applies to even your personal page. People will forget you in an instant. And the next person who comes in with the hottest thing or the craziest thing gets on there, and you keep getting pushed down. And then it affects your business, because with social media, Facebook, Instagram, the less you post, the lower you fall on people's feeds. And as a business, we have people come and ask us all the time, how do I build back up? When you get there, don't lose it. That momentum is very, very important.
That's so important. Thank you for bringing that full circle. That's consistency is key. I think someone left a comment
consistency
about that.
And commitment is a
must. It's a
Catherine.
must. It's a must when it comes to entrepreneurship or really anything that you do. Just be consistent, and then the rewards will follow. There's a quote from I think the founder of Facebook, and it says, "Actions always yield rewards." And that was one of the quotes that I used to put on my wall in college. Actions always yield rewards. So if you take action, there will be a reward if there's consistency.
And especially if you may start out as an entrepreneur, but you may end up hiring employees and lots of people. They do what you do, not what you say. So if you're going to be lazy and hire somebody and they're lazy, you can't blame them.
That's right. That's very true.
You have to show them
That's true.
How to do it, not just. I think we had a post like that. People don't care about what you say. It's how you do what you do. Right. So.
Yep. That was a really good question. keep them coming. I hope you didn't feel like we beat up on you a little bit.
He said thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Consistency.
So again, you guys want to share this video.
Yes.
We will be coming back hopefully with another Facebook Live sometime very soon.
Yes. It was very impromptu.
Yeah, it was our spontaneous rapid fire, lightning fire.
But we do it also because in the beginning we said it's good to be spontaneous.
Yes,
we can't just be very rigid even as a brand, and especially even with Facebook Live.
Yes.
Just pop up and you might have information that people need at the time, so it doesn't always have to be a set time, which is good with consistency, but it's also good to also show people the behind the scenes, change things around.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the behind the scenes, another angle of our office and our sofa that
with
rarely gets
spring
sat on.
coming out now, who knows?
Yeah, spring, and I'm wearing a scarf, so what's
somebody the scarf company might need to come find you.
That's true. Okay.
You never know. You're always branding.
Yes, always branding. So we appreciate you guys for sitting with us and joining us. Were there any other questions we need to answer?
Shanae says thanks for this video. Hey Shanae,
hey Shanae, that's my sister. Thank you, sister.
Yes, thanks for coming in. Beautiful scarf.
Thanks, sister.
But if you have any questions even after this, please, we'll be on our social media and we'll check in, answer your questions. We threw out an idea. If you know, you have any ideas how we can reach solopreneurs or entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
What we can help out. It's not always about the dollars and the cents. You can share information in many varied ways, and we want to know what's the best way we can reach you.
Yes.
We might not be on social media, but you may sign up for an email. We are throwing the idea about doing an ebook. Somebody suggested doing a webinar.
Yes, and workshops here live in Atlanta. Let us know if you're interested in that. We are looking into doing that.
Yes.
Possibly in
host other people.
Yes, host other people in the coming months. So let us know.
Somebody said nice green pillows. Thank you. I love it. It is all green.
Yes, the front of our office is very green. Maybe we'll do our next Facebook Live at our conference table. We'll think about it.
But thank you guys. It's 5:30.
Yeah, it's 5:30. It's quitting time. Well, somewhat.
Hello at adriennejmedia.com. If you have any questions, please send us your questions to that email address, hello@adriennejmedia.com. Our website is adriennejmedia.com. If you want to sign up for email marketing and see what's new with us, what's going on, please go to either of those, or even on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes, Twitter
there
as well.
We usually reshare these videos, later on, so you might still look for this information, may not know where to find it. Just go back and look through our feeds. You will find us. Yes. It's always great doing this. It's a lot of fun.
It's so fun for us.
A little different spin to the day. So.
It does. So we hope to see you guys again. Don't forget it's Women's History Month. So support a woman-owned business. Support women in history. Teach your children about it. And Kristen, we can't wait to hear what happens with your daughter.
Yes, and her slime.
It's so exciting.
Yes, let us know.
All right, so we'll see you guys again. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.